Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm very excited because I recently just got my Cbeautymall haul, and in that I have ordered 2 palettes from the brand Huaaxu. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a Chinese brand, I'm pretty sure, and it was completely new to me, but I was making a haul or an order during Black Friday and these weren't on sale, but I just knew I had to get them. So I will be showing you one look with each of the palettes and also of course swatches first, so let's just get started. Now here is the Huaaxu Veil palette. This is so stunning. You can see that it has a lot of different undertones with the mattes and also a lot of difference in depth, which I really appreciate, and especially also the fact that all the shimmers are sparkly or shifty in some kind of way. So I'm very excited about this neutral palette because I just love to have some sparkly shimmers when I do neutral looks. Let's start with the swatches of the Veil palette. You can already tell just how pigmented these mattes are. They swatch so good and they honestly apply as well too. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because you can just see how like opaque they are. So that is very exciting, and I will say these shimmers too are just so sparkly and stunning, especially this one right here. Now they don't have names, but this is the second to last one in the first row, and it has holographic glitters, which you can't necessarily see as well on camera. I'm gonna turn down the lighting a bit, but you can definitely see it very well in real life in just like regular room lighting, so that's why I think it's not showing up now, because I do have my studio lights, but you can see it a little bit there. So that is a very beautiful shade, and I would say that these two are relatively similar. That's the first shade and that's the second shimmer, which is like on the bottom row. I would just say that this one is a bit cooler toned and a bit more iridescent, whereas this one has a little bit more of like a neutral warm base, it seems, but they both shift from pink to green or gold. Then you have this very deep shimmer, which felt very squishy in the pan. I wasn't really able to show you, however, because I tried to film it, but it felt a bit squishy, but I already used it and I thought it worked really nice on the eye. And I think it's just a perfect deep shimmer because it does have a lot of beautiful sparkles to it, so it's just very dimensional in a way. And then we have, like, you can see this lightest one is basically my skin tone, but you can still just see how opaque that matte is. And then this shimmer is the last shimmer in the palette. I think it is very pretty. It is a gold, but it's almost like a gold with a silvery sheen to it almost. You can see it's also very dimensional. So that is the Veil palette. I'm trying to show you just with a little bit less focus so we can see all the sparkles, but my camera is too quick to focus. But yeah, that is the palette. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and the mattes, like the colors, I mean, are just perfect for when I'm wanting a neutral palette. I think it's so good. So that is the Veil palette, and now I'm going to show you the Night Feast palette, which is also so beautiful. Here we have the Night Feast palette Close Up, and this is such a beautiful palette. I love the matte selection. It's quite dark and deep, but then you have a few more pastel shades. This is a pink, this is a purpley blue, it's almost like a periwinkle, and a very light bright blue here. If anything, I wish that there was like one that was a little bit warmer, because you do have a few warmer toned shades right here, but either way, I think this is such a lovely palette, so I'm very excited to use it. Now here is the Night Feast palette. I absolutely adore this color story. It has so many grungy, slightly muted shades, but it's like still a little bit colorful. So we can just start off with the mattes. We have this pastel pink, which is a very cool toned color, and then this one is more of a medium periwinkle shade, but it's a little bit gray toned. And then we have all of these deep mattes right here. You have a relatively deep blue, a very deep teal almost. It's like a cool toned green, I would say. Then you have this super dark burgundy. You have a really dark brown. And then for the other mattes, we have this grungy acid green, and or maybe like it's more of a mossy green, I don't know. But then we also have this pastel turquoise, which is just so pretty and very opaque again, like the Veil palette. The mattes are just very opaque and swatch very beautifully. Now for the shimmers, we do have these two. They're probably my favorites of the palette because they're almost a bit iridescent, but you can see the shifts. They're like my favorite kind of shadows have these shifts. It's like a warm orange to a golden green, and they're a little bit pink too, but both of them are like varieties of that, and I just love that. And you will see me use those in one of my looks, so keep on watching if you want to see that. And then for the last two shimmers here, we have this absolutely stunning purple. It's a very deep purple, and it shifts through, I mean, it's almost blue, and then it shifts through more of a warmer purple, and then all the way to a gold and a little bit of green. And not to forget that it also has a ton of holographic sparkles that are very visible in real life, but again, it's not as visible on camera, I think, but I hope that you are able to see them. And then the last shade is an iridescent blue that goes to a, I don't know, a purple or pink. So I think that's very nice to have one shade that you can layer over any of these, but I would say that these first two are relatively light as well and would work nicely over all of these colors too. So I think it's a very beautiful palette. I don't even know which one is my favorite of the neutral one or this one, because they're both just so stunning. But that concludes the swatches, so now I'm going to show you the looks I created, one with each palette. I'm starting off with this green shade with my R105 brush from What's Up Beauty. The matte shadow seems to be picking up very easily. Whoa, that is pigmented. And it already looks like it's blending itself. What? That is so nice. I mean, these brushes from What's Up Beauty, I did get them in PR, but they're very good. They are a bit expensive, but I do think it's an investment. Wow, this shadow is blending so nice though. I'm just going to apply it a bit further into. As for the eyeshadow base I'm using today, it's the Smashbox primer, and then I just used a little bit of concealer on the inner and outer parts of the eye. I wish I had a skin toned color to apply over here, so I'm going to reach for that outside of these palettes. But now that I have that shade put down, I will be adding a little bit of this brown. You can see there's a little bit of kick up in the pan, but nothing major. Now just to deepen it up in the outer corner, I'm applying this brown here. It looks like it's layering really nicely on top of that other shade, and they're blending really nicely together as well. I'm going to take the brown also underneath the eye right here. Here I don't really have any primer, but I usually don't, and it's fine. And I think I'm just going to use whatever is left on the brush from the blending to work on the outer edge right here. Could have been nice with a detailed brush to actually apply the green too, but I don't necessarily want too much eyeshadow down here. Now that was super easy. Already I'm feeling like these shadows are very nice to work with. We will just see how they wear during the day. But I wasn't really expecting these to be bad. It's a little bit of a pricey palette, and also Cbeauty is known for being very high quality, so very happy with this far. I think I'm going to try the shimmer without any glitter glue, so I'm just picking it up on my finger, and of course I'm taking this shade right here, and I'm going to start in the, oh, that is like a waxy feel, but in the best way possible. I'm gonna start here just in case I want to use that other shimmer, which looks a little bit darker for the outer corner. I am a little bit scared that this might crease. I'm taking my little finger with that other shimmer, just a little bit. Oh, that's a little bit more flaky too. That is definitely a lot more pink and purple than I thought, but I'm gonna apply it anyway. It does have a green shift, so I think it's gonna be fine. I'll just make sure I have this one a little bit higher up so that you can see it when I have my eye open. Like that. That's basically the look. I'm going to try the iridescent shade for the inner corner, I think, but other than that, I'll just finish off the rest of my makeup and show you the close-up. Here you can see the finished look. It's a simple green look, but you definitely have a lot of depth, as you can see, and the shimmers look so beautiful. They're very shifty, which I hope you are able to see because it's not always that easy to show, but you can see they're just like electric, sort of, especially that pink shift there. Very beautiful. And I'm just very happy with how this look turned out and how it applied, because the eyeshadows were just applying very easily and just, I don't know, I'm just very happy with how they worked. And I'm very excited to be using that other palette, which is a lot more neutral than this, and I'll probably also do separate videos with more looks on each palette if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, that is the close-up of this first look. So for the look today, I was thinking I'd use this shade because it has holographic sparkles to it. So I think it's like one of the most special ones. And I think I want to use a little bit of this deepest one as well, just to see how that one looks on the eye. So I was thinking I would do, on the outer corner, I do like the warmer mattes, and then towards the inner corner, I'll at least use this one. Probably not the deepest one here, but I just want to do like a mix of cool and warm tones. So I think I'm just gonna start out with this one, blend it with this one. Oh, I just tapped twice here and this is all the kick up, so that's quite a lot of kick up if you care about that. I personally don't. So today I'm trying a different base. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. I do tend to have some creasing with that one, but nothing really bad, and I find that shadows perform really nicely on top of it. So I hope that's going to be fine. And either way, I think it's just nice to test a more creamy base with the shadows, because I'm assuming that it's the same kind of formulas in both palettes. Now this is very dark and very pigmented. I think it's even showing up darker on this base than it does in the pan. But it seems to be blending okay. It's not that like as easy as the green I used in the other look, but I suppose that's to be expected with a shade as dark as this one. I was, by the way, using the R108 brush, and now I'm going to use the R109. It is relatively clean. I just use a brush cleaner. So I'm just going to go in with this warmer tone, and I'm just overlapping what I just applied. It's very pigmented. And this one seems to be blending a bit more like that green shade, which just, you basically just apply it, go over it a little bit, and then it's looking good. So that's really nice. I think I'm just gonna apply it a bit further down too. And then I'm going to use that more grayish tone right here. For the gray shade, I'm using the R105 brush, and I don't think I mentioned it, but these brushes are from What's Up Beauty. Wow, that is applying really nicely. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit tired today because I haven't been sleeping very well the past week, but it's fine. It's just I'm not able to collect my thoughts as effectively as maybe usually. That is looking really nice, and honestly I'm ready for the shimmers now. I'm just going to apply that deepest shimmer way out in the, like just a little bit here in the outer corner, and then I'll use that other shade all over the rest of the lid. And I think for the lower lash line I'll just try a different matte, so I'll use this one, which is more of a neutral one, because this is the one I used and this is the one I used on the inner corner, so this will be something in the middle. And I suppose I can just do that right now. I still have a little bit of that warm toned shadow left, I think, on the brush. So I'm just trying to pick up the shadow with a brush because I know some people don't like using their fingers, so I figured I would just try to see how that works. This shadow is a little bit flaky though, so it's a little bit hard to pick it up maybe. Yeah, it's just giving me a little bit at a time, but I'm just going to try. Oh, it's looking very pretty though. Yeah, with exactly this shadow, I think it's better to just use your finger. So I'm just going to pick it up. You can see just a little bit of the texture here, that it's a bit flaky. And then I'm just going to apply it here. Try to not get such a thick layer. So I'm going to try to smooth it out a little bit. But that shimmer is looking so beautiful. I think I will try to use the brush on the other shade instead, because that looks like it's a little bit more of a dense and smaller pigment in it. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more friendly for a brush. So you can see it here, it's quite dark. So I'm just going to apply it in the outer parts here, and then I'm going to tap with the finger that still has a little bit left, just to blend them together and make them look smooth, and as if they're kind of like the same shade just going into different shifts. Something like that. I think that's looking so pretty. Very like simple yet smoky and neutral. So I'm very happy with how that's looking. I think I might just want to use that holochrome shadow also for the inner corner, so I'll do that after I apply my concealer and everything and show you the close-up. Here is the final look, and oh wow, that shimmer is just making me so happy. You can just see all those tiny beautiful holographic sparkles, and the mattes applied really nicely, blended really nicely, and I'm just very happy with how everything turned out, which is always a good thing when trying out new makeup. So I would say this far, these shadows have not disappointed me at all. I'm very pleased with them, and I'm so excited to be using them more. And also I'm excited to pay attention to the brand and see what else they might release in the future, because this is very promising. And just to update you on yesterday's look as well, the one with the Night Feast palette, it did crease a little bit during the day, but not a lot at all. And also it was basically like a snowstorm, and yeah, so it's not really weird that it creased because it literally got wet. But we will see how this one holds up, especially since I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills base, which does kind of end up creasing a little bit on me. But I think it's gonna be fine. So those were both of my looks and all the swatches of the palettes. I am so happy that I ordered these palettes. They're not super affordable, but I definitely think they're worth it, especially if you like these color stories just like me. I find that this neutral palette that I just used, it just has a lot of different undertones that help you make a lot of different looks, although they're neutral, and also the shimmers are just very special, so I love that. Now there might be a tiny bit of creasing with some of these shadows, but not so much so that it's a problem. I think it's just like a little bit in the crease and it's not really noticeable, and also that is like after 10 hours maybe, so it's definitely not a bad thing. And I think the color stories are just so interesting and pretty, and the eyeshadow quality is great from what I've tried up until now. Obviously I haven't tried a lot of the colors, so I definitely want to do maybe a video on each of the palettes and do several looks, but I don't know when that will be because I do have quite a bit of new makeup that I want to show you first. But if that is something you would like to see, then comment down below and I will see when I'll do that. All in all, I'm just very happy with these two palettes. I think they're gorgeous and beautiful quality. I would love to hear your opinions on the palettes. Have you heard about the brand or have you tried it yourself? But I think that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye!